All right, let's get into it.
So you're supposed to start it with, well,
This is your show.
no, I know, but Scott's not here, and that's how you start it.
Oh, well.
There we go. It's Friday again. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Warfighter Tobacco Podcast. We are Sam Scott this week, so we have Mikey stepping in for him.
I've become kind of a regular.
I know,
This
right?
is my third time on the show. Yeah.
You're like our go-to shoe-in.
It's because I live 10 minutes away.
Right. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
I know how to get here. And I'm a stand-up comic, so it's not like I'm doing anything during the day.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cut and dry. How are you, buddy? Let you get your cigar lit.
Well, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Outside of trying to get people to do their job, not people at Warfighter, just everybody else in general that I deal with in life. I'm doing great.
I could listen to you go Karen on people all day long. It's so much fun.
But I'm not even there are times where I go a little overboard, but it's out of principle.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I never said you weren't justified in anything that you do. I've seen and heard all the
but the
crap
majority of it, it's like I'm not just going Karen just to be, annoying or whatever. All I'm trying to do is to get that person to do the job they're getting paid for. That's it.
Sure.
Like you're getting paid to do something and you clearly didn't do it.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to explain to you how, why, and when you didn't do it and what you need to do in order to get it done, because now it's affecting me. So
I had something happen to me this weekend.
Yeah.
That is remnants of that.
Okay.
And I felt like such a Karen, but this was warranted, I think. I don't know. You be the judge, right?
Okay.
So Haley and I and the boys were staying in a hotel up in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So for breakfast, I ordered takeout. Cracker Barrel. It was like next door to the hotel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The casserole, man. Yeah. Like the hash brown casserole is just superior, dude. Like,
right.
So I order all this, and I had ordered 3 sides of bacon. All right. So the boys could each have a side of bacon, and then I was getting a side of bacon.
Yeah.
Right. And I go there, pay for the food. I'd already paid for the food, I think. And I go there, pick it up, and I take it out to the car. And out of principle, I've taken to checking before I leave the premise, right?
Maybe
because
I should take a look.
I've been jammed way too many times.
Right.
And I open up the bag, and sure as hell, there's no sides of bacon.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, easy mistake. It was a pretty big order. You know what I mean? An order for 4 people is a pretty good size order. So I go back in there, and I'm like, excuse me. I was like, you guys forgot my sides of bacon. No big deal, And she's like, oh, okay. This guy comes out. His name is Michael. He comes out, and he's like, sir, I put the bacon in your bag.
Show me.
And so I left the bag out in the car, and I just brought the receipt in. And I was like, so you're just going to sit here and argue with me instead of just getting me bacon? And he's like, well, I put the bacon in there. And I snatched it out of his hand. I was like, you know what, Michael? I was like, don't worry about it, buddy. I'll come back and double check. I'm going to go check. And if it's not in there, I'm coming back in. Mm-hmm. And I go back, and I took everything out to make sure that I wasn't just me overreacting, right? And I was like, nope, no bacon in there, right? Well, like I have kids. They're expecting bacon. Yeah. I'm not going to disappoint my children.
Oh, sorry. Somebody didn't put it in the bag.
Right? So
I don't care.
So I bring the bag back in, and the young lady, who's an absolute sweetheart, was sitting there, and you could tell she was like, oh, God.
Here we go.
And I was like, can you go get Michael? I'd like to have a word with him. And Michael doesn't come back out, all right? The manager comes back out. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I was hoping to talk to Michael again since he wants to argue with me about my food. And he goes, and I was like, and I open up the bag, and he's like, well, I'm the manager. And I was like, well, here you go, sir. I opened it up. I was like, you show me 3 sides of bacon in this bag.
Right.
And he's like, this really isn't a big deal. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I'm right there with you, man. I was like, this could have been.
Yeah, like, oh, hey, sorry, here's your bacon.
Right? Like, it'd have been like, oh, that's our bad. Or 3 sides of bacon gonna break Cracker Barrel? Like, let's say he was right and I was wrong, right? Is it really gonna hurt you? You know what I mean? Like, is it worth?
Because the side's what, like 2 pieces?
That's all it was.
Yeah, so six strips of bacon.
That's what I told him. I was like, dude, I just need 6 strips of bacon.
Yeah.
Like, it's really much ado about nothing. And he comes back out and he gives it to me, and he's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, it's fine, man. I was like, it's an honest mistake. I was like, just tell your employees, maybe don't argue with the customer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's one thing if it's just like, hey, like, I know I gave that to you. You know that I know that I gave that to you.
Yeah.
It's another to be like, well, I put it in there. Be like, clearly you fucking didn't.
Right? Like, dude, I'm not going to die on the hill over 6 strips of bacon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
But still, it's principle at that point of that dude being like, no, I put it in there. You're like, no, you didn't.
yeah. That's exactly what it was. More principle than the actual thing. And I was like, dude, like, this isn't a force field.
Right.
All right. This counter is not going to stop me leaping over there and just pummeling your ass.
Over bacon.
I fought people for less, man. Like,
Right.
I think we all have, you know, like, granted, I wasn't in my 40s, but, you know,
Yep.
good God.
Bacon's serious matter, man.
You know, like, well, especially if like your kids are looking forward to breakfast or whatever, you know, like, I'm not gonna, come on, man. Like, act like you've been there. I don't know.
Bacon's serious. I cooked a shitload of bacon this past weekend.
You always do.
Well, I had a lot of people at the house.
That's right. You had like basically a brunch day.
No. So originally it was supposed to be a brunch day, but that didn't end up working. But we ended up doing the burgers for the 4th.
Yeah.
And when I started cooking, I realized I was like, oh, well, shit, we got a lot of people. A lot more than just one package of bacon. So I bought 3 packages of bacon for the weekend, cooked 2 just for the burgers.
Yeah.
And then
What'd you season it with?
the grill your ass off infidel pork rib. There we go. I
Attaboy.
couldn't think. I had a brain fart.
Yeah.
And then we made the other pound and a half for breakfast the next morning.
You know what I've been messing with a lot lately is flaky salt.
Okay.
Like, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'll go get a baguette. Since I got back from France, I'm super fancy and I eat baguettes like all the time now because I got an HEB right there. It's basically a patisserie, right? So I'll get a baguette and I'll just slice it and put butter and flaky salt on it and just eat that. And that's been like my snacks, which is definitely not healthy.
Not really. No.
I don't care at all.
Really.
It's so good.
I do. I used to, when I moved back from Belgium,
Yeah.
I was on a similar kick where I always had olive oil and balsamic, like high-end olive oil and balsamic vinegar. And
Yeah.
I'd always make like a oil and vinegar little dip for my breads.
All the time,
And
dude.
it didn't matter what I was eating for dinner.
Yeah.
And then I actually did one of their hot pepper things, oils that they put on their pizza.
So good, dude.
So I made one of those, and then it ran out, and I just haven't made another one again.
Yeah. What's the oil base for those? Is it all olive oil? Is
Yeah.
it?
Just good olive oil?
So I learned the difference between good and bad olive oil.
One of them gets you sick, and the other one tastes good.
Well, if you take it pour a little bit in a container and put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
If it solidifies as it should, it's good olive oil. If it stays liquid,
Yeah.
not so good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
and I will tell you that the one I have at home did not solidify, so I'm a little upset with myself. So I need to step my olive oil game up a bit.
It's so hard. There's so many olive oils that are out there, and the majority of the stuff that's made in America, or even stuff made for companies in America, are just filled with so much bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not like real.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, yeah, but it's not.
What's your go-to cigar for barbecue?
Oh, so actually, there's something cool I want to talk to you about that. But I'll smoke anything while I'm cooking.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. The bigger, like the longer cigar, like I usually run one of our double Coronas or something like that, just because more time. But Steve Saka makes a cigar. I think it's called Red Meat.
Okay.
And I was talking to a guy at one of the shows about this cigar. And I guess you're supposed to cook a steak and smoke a cigar at the same time. And so, and this is what I was told. I haven't tried it out yet. But you get the cigar and you get your steak, right? And you light your cigar and then you turn your grill on, season your steak, the whole fucking nine. And you smoke your cigar as you're cooking the steak.
Okay.
Nice medium rare takes what, like 4 minutes aside, maybe, depending how thick it is.
I flipped twice, bud.
That's it.
Grill marks.
Yeah. Right. And so, but you cook your steak and then you're smoking your cigar while you're cooking it. And then you eat your steak while you're smoking your cigar as well. And it's supposed to go well with that steak throughout the whole process of it.
Huh.
So I got a couple of them. They've been sitting in my humidor forever because every time I cook a steak, I forget about it until I eat the steak. I'm like, shit, I should have lit that cigar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but I've never looked at the cigar and been like, man, I should go cook a steak tonight. Like it just,
Dude,
one of these days on a weekend, I'm going to be like, oh yeah.
Every time I would see that cigar, I'd be like, I need a steak. Like,
But so I have so many little travel humidors and Ziploc bags with cigars and all this stuff that my actual tabletop humidor at my house rarely gets opened.
Yeah.
It just sits there.
Yeah.
Yep. But one of these days I'm going to do that. I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, I know that like in my admittedly limited knowledge of pairings, I've noticed that this cigar that we are enjoying right now, this Sumatra, does very, very good with like backyard barbecue like flavor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like burgers, hot dogs, making a good steak, a good pork chop, anything like that. This cigar like has complemented like an after meal cigar very, very well.
So one of these days I'm going to have to get that smoker from you. The one that doesn't work anymore?
Yeah, you're going to need to soon. I think there's something living in it.
Oh, shit. Because I have a cold smoking kit.
Yeah.
And I want to smoke a cigar before I smoke a cigar.
I love it. I love
it. Just to, you know, like I'm
not going to lie. If you don't come get it, I'm going to put it in your dumpster out here. Like... Haley, honestly, Haley actually mentioned something about it last week.
The reason I haven't gotten it yet is because I have 4 grills in my backyard.
I know. And I know you don't want to put it out here. Like, but it is.
I think there's 2 or 3 here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have problems.
It's mostly grill and butter.
But hey, we're not historians on World War II.
That's true.
We just went into smoking meat and
stuff. Yeah. I like smoking meat. I don't know. I kind of know some stuff about World War II.
I know enough, but I don't know. I couldn't be like.
I don't know intimate details. Like there are guys out there
that they don't know how to smoke meat.
Big Jim. Jim can't barbecue to save his life, but I guarantee you he could teach a clinic on World War II.
Oh, he'll tell you everything. He'll tell you the letter that some general wrote to somebody else.
Yeah, he's got like battle plans hanging up in his house and shit.
Can't cook a brisket to save his life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he's got us for, man.
I know, right? He's like, they don't know this shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's right, I don't.
What do you think your strongest meal is that you make? Like
smoking? Or just in general?
In general.
Ooh. I think
because I do a lot of things well.
Mine's like depending on like when. Because like I used to do chicken marsala all the time.
Okay.
And it was, I dialed that recipe in. And I don't think I've made chicken marsala in probably, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Years, 10 years maybe.
Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff, like it depends what I'm cooking it for. Because like you have things that you make because they're simple and easy and they taste good.
Yeah. It's just, I'm talking like you just cooking dinner for like you and Mal.
Oh, yeah. I made hot dogs the other night. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, Haley will do like smoked sausage and like Velveeta shells and cheese. And I'm like, good with it.
I just did chicken thighs with pasta and a pesto sauce.
Nice.
And the pesto sauce expired in 2020, but it's been in my freezer since then.
It's fine.
It's just oil and parsley,
garlic and parsley.
Yeah, like it's fine.
Yeah. That's another thing I've been doing with baguettes, pesto, flaky salt. Telling you, my heart's gonna stop. I'm making chicken enchiladas tonight.
Nice.
That's one of my go-tos. I do like green chili chicken enchilada.
Okay.
With like a white sauce. It's pretty good.
That works.
And then, but I would say the thing I'm best at is chili.
Yeah.
Yeah. I make a bomb chili.
Pretty good chili too.
Yeah.
I like to cook a lot. So I don't know if there isn't like one dish, at least recently, that I've done like over and over to like perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything I do, there's a rough recipe until I've made it a couple times. And then it's just like, we'll try it this way this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's always like my chili, for instance. For the most part, it's slightly different every time. Yeah. But it has almost all the same stuff in it. It's a little different ratios. Well,
that's just Taco Bell's, way of doing things. They made an entire menu out of like 6 fucking things.
I know, right?
That's why
it's going to make it shaped differently.
Yeah, it all tastes exactly the same. It'd be cool if we had a flat taco shell. We could wrap it in here. You mean a double-decker taco? No, we're going to call this one a crunch wrap. Oh, okay. Same thing.
Let's make the taco, but let's not fold it in half. Let's just lay it. Oh, so like a Mexican pizza.
Right? Like, oh, okay.
Shout out the cheesy gordita crunch.
It's probably the only thing that's not like everything else on their menu.
I almost went to Taco Bell today for lunch.
Dude.
Yep. And then right down the street from Taco Bell was like a legitimate taco shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to find here.
Los Porky's.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, you've told me about it.
Yeah.
I haven't made it over there yet.
I ordered.
That's off Pat Booker, right?
Yeah, I ordered street tacos and a quesadilla, a birria quesadilla. And I barely got through the birria quesadilla. It was just massive.
Really?
Yes. Insane.
Okay.
Went there last week, got their nachos.
Delicious.
Got maybe a little over halfway through the nachos, but fuck, were they good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
High, like 10 out of 10 recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Porky's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check it out, man.
Los Porky's.
Oh, sorry. Which is Spanish for the Porky's.
Yeah.
your Caucasian is showing, Mikey.
Hey, saludos Estados Unidos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Taco Bell Monday after the other show. After
Okay.
we recorded Freedom Friends. Haley was like, she literally sent me a message, was like, bring me Taco Bell. And I was like, done and done, girl.
I had some chilies waiting for me.
Attaboy. Attaboy. That's right. That's right. That's right. I like chili.
You know, I it's probably been a minute, like 4 or 5 years, maybe even more since I had chilies last.
Really?
And I wasn't mad at it.
I eat it in Palaca every time I go.
Oh, because there's nothing else.
There's
there.
nothing there down there. So like that's like
There's the one place we went to with a gator hide on the wall, and Rich High was blind.
dude. What the hell was he doing that night, man? That was so ridiculous.
He stayed in character.
He
It
did.
was great.
I was dying, man.
Y'all should tell that story because fuck, it's so good. Rich is such a character.
All right, yeah, I'll tell it. So I brought at the time I worked for a t-shirt company, and pretty well known Brovet t-shirt company. As did Justin, as did Jazz, as did a bunch of us. And one of my jobs was I was the strategic partnership director. So I had a partnership with Round Canopy Parachuting Team out of Palaca, Florida. Well, I wanted to bring influencers down there to like get them, involved with the team and whatnot.
Right.
And I brought you.
Yeah.
We're one of my guys.
I wouldn't know if you call me an influencer.
I wouldn't call you.
I don't
an
have a link
influencer,
tree in my
but you were
Instagram bio.
Fuck you. but you were my buddy, so I was like, and you were airborne, so I brought you down there so that you could connect with these guys because you knew most of them.
I knew all the guys.
And I was like, I could bring John. John's already airborne qual,
Yeah.
and he can provide a little confidence if they're not feeling it, right?
yeah,
So like you were down there to genuinely help me. Like I had good reason. Like you have a great following and you're a good dude. So that was the other half of it, right? So I was like, yeah,
we still
John
we had
fits.
fun.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
But it was you. It was Rich High, aka Angry Cops.
Yep.
Or Mad at Work on Instagram.
Donnie O'Malley,
Donnie O'Malley from Vet TV, and
Jack Mandeville,
Jack Mandeville, and Pop Smoke. Good old Dan Sharp.
Dan Sharp.
Yeah. Well, Mandeville wasn't jumping.
No, he was supposed to be interviewing.
He was supposed to be interviewing. I don't know what Jack did. Jack.
No, he was. He was supposed to be interviewing.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think he might have on one jump.
Yeah, I think he was writing, and then I think he interviewed Rich after his first jump or something.
And that was like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were all down there, and because we were paying for it, the company was.
Yeah.
I had you guys up in a hotel, and I took you guys to dinner every night.
Oh no, we were in the Airbnb on that lake.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Which is another funny story.
I still have it's a boomerang video of you jumping over off the pier into.
That was shortly before something poked Rich in the crotch, and we all got out of the water.
That's right. That's right. So we go to this dinner. Jack was not in a good mood.
He was. Oh yeah.
Jack had been.
I remember all that.
He'd been
some-
rubbed wrong by a member of the staff.
Yeah. Somebody slapped his pee-pee.
Yeah. Essentially, we took a picture in a swimming pool together,
Yeah.
and he shared it.
Yep.
And they were like, "You can't share that." And he was like, "Yes, I fucking can." And it pissed him off, right?
Yep.
Because he's a creative guy, and you're
Yeah.
not going to stifle his creativity. That's
Right.
the way he feels. And so he was pissed off. So he was like poopy pants during the whole meal.
Yeah.
But what lightened that is that Rich, and I don't know why he did this.
He started in the parking lot before we even walked in.
Yeah. Like,
And I don't know why.
and he
but-
I
had,
think if I remember correctly, it was because Jack was in a bad mood and he was like, no, you're my friend. I make people laugh. So I'm going to make you in a good mood now.
But I don't know why he decided I'm going to be blind for this meal.
because he
This
just
is what it's
blindfolded
gonna
himself.
be.
I think it was just like the first thing that popped in his
because
head.
we still had to wear masks.
There was still like,
And so he
but
had
we were in
his
Florida.
neck gaiter.
We were in Florida, so
He had his
kind
neck
of.
gaiter over his eyes
Yeah.
the whole time.
So he just and like he was like drinking 2 bottles of beer and just being goofy as
half
shit. and, like,
almost spilling shit all over the table.
but
When the
he
food came,
he
they're
ate
like,
his entire meal
blind.
in the dark.
and Dan Sharp was his spotter.
Yes. Yeah.
And the waitress was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
And we were,
I remember we were gonna walk him out.
and I think you and me were just dying laughing. Donnie felt awkward and weird.
Yeah, he did.
Jack was trying to still be poopy, but he couldn't. He couldn't be poopy
It
anymore.
was so funny.
It was so good, man. Yeah. If you don't
I
follow
think
Rich
Dan
High,
Sharp, didn't he walk him into a wall on the way out?
a couple times. Yeah. Yeah. I think on purpose.
Yeah.
I think on purpose. But if you don't follow those guys, like 10 out of 10 recommend them,
Oh,
man. They were
hilarious.
just great dudes. Yeah, what a good trip. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. Remember Jack and Donnie kept kissing? Just straight mouth kissing. Do you remember that?
That happened a lot.
They just
Like
kept-
it happened to the point where I was in line, like we were in a stick for a jump,
Yeah.
and Donnie was in front of me, and Jack was going down the line saying everything, and he just grabbed Donnie and like literally like dipped him into a kiss, and saying Donnie's all rigged up, and holding his reserve the whole time, and then
Discipline.
smiled, and then Jack looked at me, and I was like, no sir.
Jack has kissed me. He has mouth kissed me so many times.
Mm-hmm.
He kissed me at an event in front of oh shit, what's his name? Special Forces operator sniper
Tim Kennedy.
Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy and Jack are sitting at a table. I'm sitting at a table with Parker.
Yeah.
And it was at some event, and Rob O'Neill was getting ready to come up and talk. And I was like, well, I'm going to head out because I had another event to go to, but I was like, don't feel like listening to this bullshit, and stood up 'cause I'll call it out. I don't care. And Jack was like, I went to give him a hug bye, and he just straight pulled me in and
Yep.
just gave me a smooch. And Tim's sitting there, and Tim's just like, and I look over at him, and we both like, we couldn't have written it better. Jack and I both like looked at him and we were like, "You're next." And Tim's just like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, love that guy.
So much fun.
Man,
Yeah, we had a good time down there.
always do, always
And,
do.
and all those boys smoke cigars.
Yeah.
I got to jump with a cigar in my mouth.
Matter of fact, our buddy Jerry, one of the jump masters
Yeah.
down there, the big cigar smoker, today's his birthday.
Oh, happy
Yeah.
birthday, buddy.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Jerry, right? He's a big cigar smoker. He always gives me a cigar when I'm down there, and we do like a little exchange all
Yeah.
the time and stuff. So
So I went up to Bill Markham is the guy who runs founder, CEO, whatever you want to call it,
President.
President,
Yeah.
Ron Canopy Parachute Team. And so I went up to Bill, and I jumped before, so it wasn't like these are my first ones. So I didn't fall under like the student rules, no GoPros, no this, no that. You got to focus on safety. For me, they're like, oh, okay, you can do this, right? Yeah, okay, just don't die.
yeah.
And if you do, like, you sign the waiver.
And this is the first time you were jumping steerables too.
Oh yeah.
So you were like, this
Like, this is so cool. I can actually turn. But so I went up to Bill and I was like, hey, like, I have a GoPro on my helmet, I have a GoPro on my foot. Like, everybody's rigged up, or so many people are filming. Like, can I jump with a cigar in my mouth? He's like, you can't have a lit cigar in the aircraft. And I'm like, no, I'm not worried about that. I just want to jump with a cigar. And he's like, I jump mastered with a cigar in my mouth. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
like, and he showed me a picture, and it was half smoked.
Yeah.
He's like, I let it go out, kept it in my mouth. I jumped, did everybody's shit, got everybody in the plane, set them all out, jumped as soon as I got up, packed my chute, I lit my cigar.
Can you imagine how that goes? It's like 6 minutes, see?
I know, right?
Get ready. That's how I wouldn't be able to not do that voice. Like, yeah.
But so he's like, I don't care what you do, just your jump master might not like it. And I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, well, I can get around this. And so I just tucked
Your
it.
jump master was Cody.
Yeah, but he was like very by the book
Well,
when we were doing those.
Cody's still active duty.
Yeah, because he's still an active duty jump master as
Yeah.
well. So I tucked it like in my BDU top, like behind the chest, harness.
Yeah.
And so it was just sitting there, and we went through all of the inspections, everything like that. Nobody said a word. And so we were actually jumping out of the Huey at that point.
Uh-huh. And
so I'm waiting. They sent the other side of the plane or the other side of the helo first. And so then they started sending our side, and it was, it's not fast. Like they'll send a guy to make sure shit opens. They'll send another, you get a couple seconds between. So they sent that first guy, and I'm like, fuck it. And I pulled it out, and I wedged it in my mouth because I don't know what's going to happen. I never jumped out of an airplane with a cigar in my mouth.
Sure.
So I wedged it in there, and they fucking go, and I was like, hook out the plane. And so on the GoPro footage from my foot, you just see me coming out with the cigar out of my mouth, the chute opening behind me. Like, it was cool as shit.
I'm surprised you haven't blown that picture up.
Not yet, but I will. And then Justin was actually on the ground filming.
Yep.
And so I spotted him, and I'm doing steerable. So I'm like, fucking landing right by you, buddy. Because he had a lighter and a cutter waiting for me.
Yeah.
So as soon as I hit the ground, I didn't even cut it.
And this is before Justin worked for Warfighter.
Yeah.
He was just being a good dude.
He was a camera guy for the other company.
Yeah.
If I can find it, it'll be on the screen right now of John under canopy in the air with the cigar in his mouth. I gotta find it. I haven't pulled it up in a minute.
I don't even know where mine are.
But I'm gonna go hunting for that, and it'll be on the screen right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
so actually I kept that cigar band. I have it at my house.
Oh yeah.
And all I wrote on the inside of the band is Huey.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool, dude.
So I have a handful of bands that I've kept for whatever a very interesting reason that I've wrote like a 1-word note on the back of it and just saved it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know that you don't have a lot of questions from the peanut gallery today, but I have a question. Cigar bands.
Yeah.
Is that a normal thing to collect? Like, do a lot of people collect cigar bands?
They do.
Like, is it about historical significance, or is it just like to see how many they can get, or is it just different strokes for different folks? I'm curious about collecting these things, because a lot of times, like, I'll get a cigar, somebody will give me a cigar, and I'll really enjoy it. It's not a dog turd for once, and I'm like, hey, and I keep that cigar band, or I'll take a picture of it so that I can, go and find them. But,
I started with okay, these are the ones I like.
yeah.
And then it was like, you know what? I'm just going to save all the ones I smoke, and then I'm going to make something out of it. Whether it's a tabletop or like a poster or something.
Yeah.
And then I realized that the people that make like the artsy stuff that look really cool, they don't do them typically off the bands they save, because they have to use like 200 of the same band to get a color for a background or whatever,
Yeah.
Like this kind of stuff. That stuff is insane. Right.
That's
and I will fuck up a stick figure. You think I can do something like that?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Fucking Marilyn Monroe, man.
But yeah, I mean, there's some really awesome ones. But I was thinking about doing that, like a lacquer and an ashtray or a bar top.
Like Haley made you guys coasters.
The coasters.
That time.
Yep.
Yeah. Which honestly, your new bands that are coming out, these I think will look even cooler.
Yeah, those would be sweet.
Those would be cool as hell for coasters.
So I don't even know how many thousands of bands.
Sure.
No idea what I'll ever do with them.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, unless it's a specific event or something I want to remember or whatever, I usually don't keep them.
Yeah.
That and I don't want to know how many Warfighter cigars I smoke.
Money out of your own pocket.
I know, right?
Every time you do it, it's cha-ching, cha-ching. Shit.
John, what number cigar are you on today?
Oh, this is actually only number 2.
Really?
I'm fucking busy as shit.
Okay.
That's because Scott's not here.
No, I just had to go get people to do their job. And, yeah. No, I've been cutting back a lot lately. It happens in the summer when it's hot as fuck.
Sure.
And in the winter when it's cold as shit. Because I don't want to go outside. And I'm too lazy to walk upstairs in my cigar room that's
I was gonna say you have a fucking smoke
got air
in
filtration
your house, dude.
and I just don't want to walk up there. So I just
you cut back on your nicotine intake due to laziness.
I smoke when I'm at work, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, that's 8 hours of smoking time.
But then there's like the 4th of July. We were in the pool all day long, and I probably smoked, I don't even know, 8 cigars that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I mean, there's ebbs and flows to it.
Yeah.
we go to trade shows and I'll smoke 20, 25 cigars in a day. And then the week after the trade show, I won't have a single cigar. So I'm just like, I'm a game.
Well, your chest probably hurts, man. Like your freaking throat probably hurts.
No, like nothing's bad with it, but it's just like I smoked a lot, and it's nice that every once in a while to like not have a cigar for like a week.
Yeah.
Because your palate is like super sensitive. And then when you have that first cigar and you're like, oh.
Well, like I haven't had one since Monday.
Yeah.
And it's Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell like this thing tastes great.
Right.
It's so good.
One of the best instances of that in a while that I've had, it was a couple years ago in Colorado elk hunting. And we camped at like 10,000 feet. If you've ever camped at 10,000 feet, it's a little much.
Yeah.
And we did that for 10 days.
Yeah.
And then we hunted. Well. Yeah. And we hunted anywhere from the lowest we went was about 9,500.
Hunted. He went on a nature walk holding a rifle. That's not the same thing.
Hey, they call it hunting, not killing.
It's true.
And then the highest we went was like 12.7, I think. It was up there.
Good God.
And
because people always think that Denver's really high because it's 5,280 feet.
Yeah.
That's why it's mile
until
high,
you go up to the mountains and right next to it.
It's surrounded by mountains that are way higher.
and we were hunting around the areas where all the 13,000 foot peaks were, which is like 14,000, which is like the highest parts of the Rockies over there.
Yeah.
But just, it was so cold and being so high up in elevation, like I didn't have a cigar, and it was nice, crisp, fresh mountain air.
Yeah.
We're eating very healthy. I'm drinking mainly water and stuff like that.
For sure.
And so we get done nature hiking for 10 days.
Disappointing nature hiking.
We load up all the shit that we brought up there, and we get back on the road. And we have to go. We're on the west side of the mountain, so we have to go up over the pass, over the Rockies, Continental Divide, in order to get back down, to head back home.
Yeah.
And so we were leaving, and it was in the evening. It was getting dark. Snow was coming in because I was like, look, I don't want to get stuck here for 3 days. If we get a good snowstorm that closed the pass. So let's beat feet now, drive as far as we can drive, and then crash, sleep a couple hours and get up and drive the rest back to Texas. And Will was just like, yeah, cool, let's go.
Yeah.
So I didn't it was starting to get dicey.
Dude,
I'm pulling a trailer with a side-by-side, and we're loaded down with all kinds of gear and everything. So I'm like, I'm going to pay attention as we're driving. So I didn't have a cigar when I got in the truck, because normally it's like, okay, road trip, light up. And I'm like, let's go.
Many a times I've been next to you. Yeah.
And so this time I went, and it was like probably an hour and 45 minutes before I got down the other side of the pass. It takes a little while.
Sure.
And so I get over the pass. There's a gas station over there, stop, filled up. And then we're getting ready to get back on the road. I'm like, you know what? I want a cigar. Grab my Pelican case and pulled out a 5.56 Field Corona.
Okay.
And I lit that up. And you can ask Will to this day. Ask him about how I rant and raved about this cigar. Because I was like, oh my God. These flavors. And I was just like, this is the best. Will's just like, fuck it. Like, really, dude?
Dude, you own this shit.
Yeah, I know.
Your
you
label.
smoke these all the time. I'm like, but it's so different.
Yeah.
Like, my palate is so clean right now. This is so good.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I don't know. I was a big snowboarder when I was younger. So I used to go up on the mountains.
Yep.
And admittedly, I wasn't a big cigar smoker when I was younger.
Right.
But I did smoke cigarettes. And it was like the only time I would smoke menthol cigarettes. I'd always buy a pack of Cools. Yeah. And so I'd be up on the mountain in that cold, crisp air, and I'd smoke a Cool, on the lift or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just always so, it froze my chest for a second. And it felt right. It felt good, right? And it's so weird, man. Maybe it's just me being a weirdo, but
yeah. And now they're banned in half this country.
Right. Times have changed.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. But I don't know, man.
Well, I'm gonna call it for this one. It's a quick little episode.
He's a busy guy because the boss isn't here. He's got to do everything. That's what it is.
Actually, this one's going out tomorrow, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So if you made it this far and you're in the DFW area, Saturday, the day after you're listening to this, Saturday the 13th, from 2 to 6 p.m., 1849 Cigars. And DFW area. Scott will be up there.
Go see Scott.
Slinging Sticks, doing a great event. Awesome shop. Huge supporters of military, first responder, law enforcement, all that kind of fun stuff.
It's awesome.
Really good dudes up there. But yeah, Scott's going to be up there until Sunday. So if you're in the area, go say hi. If not, you will hear from us next week. So stay tuned for another edition of the Warfighter Tobacco Podcast. As usual, you know where to get all the fun stuff, warfightertobacco.com. All of our social medias are linked because I can't remember what they are. No, it's Warfighter Tobacco.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. Cool.
Sweet. Well, thanks for having me on, pal.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, man.
And, yeah, for all you listeners, see you guys next week.